guys, I'm talking about the subject of owning property in your own name versus a trust. Okay, so what is a trust? A trust allows a person or a company to hold an asset for the benefit of others without actually owning it, so they control everything. What are the advantages of a trust? Well, the first one's obvious. It's asset protection. The fact that you're physically not owning it in your personal name. If somebody wants to sue you, you control it, but you don't own it, so it's very hard to take that off of that person. A lot of people will argue that a very good lawyer can get inside a trust and rip it apart. That may be the case, but asset protection is not the only benefit of a trust. The second one is profit distribution. Now, if you make, whether it's a property or let's just say business, if you make $100,000 profit and you pay 30% tax, you'll pay 30 grand, you know, out of that $100,000 profit, leaving you 70. There's no way to get about that if it's in your personal name other than tax fraud, okay? So if you own it in a trust, there is. You can distribute that $100,000. It's got to be accounted for to the beneficiaries of your trust. It could be a cousin, auntie, kids, nephews, mum, dad, whoever. So you're finding the lower income earners, distributing that money around so that you can sometimes pay zero tax, but in like in most cases, very low tax. The third one is land tax savings. Now, if you own something in your personal name, there's a certain threshold. I think SA is like $300,000. If you own something more than $300,000 land value, you start paying land tax over that. Each state has different rules, but it may not sound like a lot, but when you own several $1 million worth of property in your own name, you can pay about 1% or thereabouts land tax, and that can be thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars per year. In a trust, for example, you can set up multiple trusts and move the properties around that trust to suit so you're up to the threshold, okay, and inevitably paying zero land tax. Many people do it. The fourth way is, how do I explain this one? Succession planning, I guess you could say. If you want to move a property to your son or daughter, say, or someone in your family one day, if you sell that property to them, you're going to pay stamp duty, which is around about 4 to 5%. So if that's a $500,000 house, you're going to pay 20, 25 grand straight away to the government for no reason, just for giving that to your, you know, someone in your family. If it's in a trust, you can change the trustee and they can simply control that property without actually making a transaction, okay? John D. Rockefeller, the wealthiest man of all time, was once asked. This is a guy that was the founder of Standard Oil. He had basically a monopoly on the world oil, basically in the late 1800s, early 1900s. The company was that big that there was a court order made that he had to split that company up, and it was split up into 34 different companies, and some of the companies still stand today, and they are Chevron, ExxonMobil, BP. He was once asked, how have you been able to amass the most money out of any human in history without, you know, it all being taken away and being, you know, he was sued thousands and thousands of times? He said one simple line, and it was because I owned nothing but controlled everything. And to break that down to simple terms, he had everything in very, very good trust and company structures that allowed him to do that. Some people will say that banks don't lend you money if you know, or don't want to lend you money if it's in a trust. That's false as well. There might be a couple of banks that don't want to give you any money, but most of the time you've got the same you know, the same rights as everybody else. So just a bit of thought for next time you're looking to start something up in your own name. Think that there's